Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters? They don't exist. What's up, David Confused? We're back again. Another video, another ghost story. Now I feel like it's been a while since I've kind of brought back the supernatural, paranormal theme to a video. And it's a theme that I do really enjoy making videos about and talking about with basically everybody. In my life, I've had a couple instances where I do believe something paranormal or supernatural was at hand. Obviously, I can't like 100% prove that happening, but my honest belief is something was there that was unexplained. I did talk about one other story in a video prior a couple months ago, and if you haven't seen that, go check it out. Same channel, same name, David Confused, you know where it is. So this time, this story is based in the first basement apartment that me and my wife moved into when we were a lot younger, before we lived in the house that we live in now, before we had a child, before we even had like a mutual dog. We lived in this basement apartment. Now it was in a subdivision, a newer house. We never ever even expected something paranormal or supernatural to happen there, but it definitely did on a couple of occasions, and this story is based on one or two of those occasions. When we first moved into the basement apartment, we were told that the house is maybe like 15 years old. Nothing crazy, nothing like, oh, it's based on an old, funeral home or an old cemetery they knocked down and built a house on. Like, nothing of the sort. Once we moved in there, we automatically started seeing things happen. For example, we would go to bed at night and we would wake up the next morning and all of our cupboards were open. And we were like, that's really odd. Maybe it's just wind. Maybe it's the hinges are messed up. We gave an excuse to everything. We had a TV that was given to us, and sometimes the TV would just turn off randomly during us watching it or playing a video game or something. And we were like, it's electronics, whatever. Then we started to notice things happening, like electronics would turn on and off by themselves that weren't an issue beforehand. And it was like, well, that's strange that that's turning on and off by itself. This is a new electronic. That doesn't make sense to me. But essentially, it being a paranormal experience, that's the last thing you think, right? You're not like, there's something else going on here. It's, We also had what's called an Xbox 360 Kinect, which is essentially a dual camera system that sees in 3D and measures who's in the room and everything, and looks at movement. So for example, if I was to wave my hand in front of the camera would pick up my hand being waved and show it on the screen, and I could click something or something on the screen using the camera. We would be watching a movie or playing a video game, and the camera would pick up something else in the room, like another hand was being waved or something. But there was nothing else in the room, so of course we were like, it's electronic, there's something going on down here with electronics that it's messing up. We just kind of blamed the environment, really, something was up. There was one night where me and my wife were in bed, and actually my dog, Barley, who was like my dog at the time, was sleeping at the foot of our bed. And we were just, in bed, everything was fine, we was sleeping. I think it was like 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning or something. And Trish woke me up in like a fright, like shook me awake, said, there's somebody standing in the doorway. So automatically I reached over and I threw my light on and looked, and there was nobody in the doorway. And I walked out and I looked around the apartment. It was a small apartment, so it wasn't hard to see almost everything from that doorway. And there was nothing. There was nobody. I saw nothing out of the ordinary. It was just regular. But to this day, she swears there was a silhouette of a man, older, a little bit of a hunch, in the door. So I was like, that's really strange. Maybe you were just dreaming. Maybe the light tricked you a little bit. That happens. Don't worry about it. I want to say maybe like a week and a half later, I remember sleeping and waking up and having my eyes open and looking next to me and seeing Patricia sleeping. And I tried to move and I couldn't. And I remember in my head starting to freak out that I couldn't move. My body wasn't working, and I remember struggling to move, but I couldn't. All I could do was look to my right, look at her sleeping next to me, and me trying to move to get her to wake me up or something. And then I remember trying to say, Patricia, wake me up. Patricia, something's wrong. And I couldn't speak. And I remember using my eyes like, why aren't you waking up? Like, wake up. In my head, but I couldn't say it. Nothing was working, but I had the feeling in my body that I was trying to get it to work. And then eventually it felt like something let go of me. And I instantly sat up in bed and woke her up, and I was like, you're not gonna believe what just happened to me. Like, this just happened to me. And she's like, it's called like sleep paralysis or whatever, where your mind and eyes are awake but your body isn't. And we kind of justified it to that. I did a little more like kind of research on that happening, and there is something paranormal about it, where essentially if a spirit is trying to get your attention, they can actually hold you and touch you. And sometimes sleep paralysis is possibly a spirit or a ghost or whatever you want to refer them as, holding you down to prove their presence. Now, I'm not 100% saying that's what this was, but that's what it felt like, because it felt like somebody eventually let go. Something just let go of me, and I was able to, like, oh my god, like, what was that? Like I was being held down by like a sheet, and then the sheet just disappeared, and I was able to move again. And I've never experienced anything like that before. Now, this is coming from somebody that I suffer from insomnia. I sleepwalk. I talk in my sleep. I have sleep apnea. Like, I have like more reasons not to sleep than to sleep, right? I've gone 2 or 3 days without sleeping. That has been an issue before. But I've never had something like this happen to me other than that occasion. In the same place where cupboards open on themselves, electronics turned on and off, a silhouette of a man was seen in our doorway. Like, it all just kind of balled up to maybe there is something else here. And the weirdest part about this is when we moved out of there, in order to save money for a wedding and our house and everything like that, we moved back in with my mom into like a condo. And all the electronics that we brought back from that apartment never had another problem again. The camera, the Kinect never picked up anything else. Our electronics never turned on and off by themselves. Cupboard doors remained closed. Whatever it was, it stayed in the basement apartment. So that's another story with the supernatural in my life. It happens. I know it does. So, you know, if you have a supernatural experience or a paranormal experience or something like that, let me know in the comments below. I want to hear it. Let's talk about it. So the member of the Confused Army I'm calling out today is Just Plain Dro. I hope I'm saying that right. Drew. Just Plain Dro. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being part of the Confused Army. Really appreciate it. Remember, Confused Army, post positive. Let's keep the positivity going. Thank you for tuning in to my weird ghost story. And at least our dogs aren't werewolves. Ciao!